Hello students, once again I Divyanshi Shravastav, your English teacher is here with new lesson, and the name of the lesson is Haroun meets if. Okay, Haroun meets if. It is a story, and now we'll just know that from where is the story extracted. There is a collection. It is just a part of one of the collective stories that is from the Sea Stories. Okay, there is a book named Sea Stories, and this specific story is just a part of that story that we are going to study today. And student, this is just your part 1. So now let's continue with the chapter. Now before we go into depth, I would just like to tell you this thing, that whenever we go through any of the poetry, any of the story or any narration or anything in literature, it's very important for us to know the theme and then to know the character. That will give you a wide picture. You will be able to comprehend everything, that what actually is happening. So in order to comprehend the entire story, it's very important for us to know the theme. As in this very story, the theme is sea story. Okay. Now talking about the sea story, why do actually we come to this conclusion that the theme should be from sea story? Because this entire story, as I have told you in the beginning, that this entire story is extracted. It's just a part from the sea stories. There is a different stories. There is a different piles of stories that is there, and one specific book is there which is named as Sea Stories, and this story is just a part of that very particular story. So we can say that the theme of this entire story can be sea story. Now second part is your storytelling. Now why does the very writer over here emphasizes on storytelling? Because as if you read in depth, there is a person whose name is Rashid. Okay, Rashid is a fellow who is a very good storyteller. He's a very famous storyteller, and he's renowned all over that particular place, that very place where he's staying. He's very renowned at that place just because of the storytelling. Now, the next theme is your power. Why power is given over here as the theme? Now, see, there is a very strong willpower that is being shown over here, or that is being portrayed over here by a small kid whose name is Haroun. Now he is very stubborn to this thing, so that he can just keep off the cutting of the story, the water supply, to just, he is pushing towards it that it can stay out. So the theme over here is power even. Now coming to the next part, that is your character. Okay. Now there are different characters that is portrayed in this entire story. One of those characters is Haroun. The second character is Rashid. The third character is Suraya. The fourth character is Water Genie. And the fifth character is Rich Politician. Okay. Now one by one we'll study who was Haroun, who was Rashid, and these different characters. So talking about Haroun firstly. Haroun is a very small boy who lived with his father, whose name was Rashid. So now you know who is Rashid. Rashid is the father of Haroun. And this Haroun, okay, Haroun is the son of both of them, that is your Rashid and Suraya. This means the lady who is mentioned over here, Suraya, she is the mother of this child, Haroun. Now, the next very important character along which this entire story revolves is the Water Genie. Now, the name of this water genie is If. What is the name of this water genie is? If. As the different names are given to different people, suppose my name is Divyanshi, your name is Aryan, and this person, this very small child, his name is Haroun. So in the similar manner, this water genie is referred as Haroun. The title, is referred as If. Now, coming to the next part, that is your rich politician. Now, there is a rich politician who plays a vital role in this. Now, why is this rich politician playing a role in it, or why is he used as a character specification? Because if you study in the initial part, that is in the start of this entire story, you will study this thing that this very politician only requested Rashid to plant a campaign for the upcoming election. Why? Because Rashid was a popular storyteller. So this politician, he wanted to narrate, he wanted this fellow Rashid to narrate the entire story and fascinate, to attract the audience, to attract the people so that he can win the election that was overhead. Now moving forward, beginning with the story. Okay, now we will just study about this entire story. Young Haroun lives with his father Rashid, who is a famous storyteller. However, ever since his wife left, Rashid's imagination has run out, and he has not been able to tell any stories. He has now been requested by a corrupt local politician to campaign for him in the upcoming elections. In order to persuade Rashid to campaign for him, the politician offers Rashid and Haroun a stay on board his luxurious houseboat. Okay. Now, as you can see in this picture, you can see there is a fellow seated well on the green sofa with a small child. Okay. Now just imagine that this man and this child is Haroun and the father Rashid. So now, as it is stated in the first part, that this Haroun, he stayed with his father. And why did Haroun and Rashid just stay together? Why were they all alone? Because Rashid's wife, named Suraya, okay, she left Rashid and she eloped with the neighbor. Now, when Suraya left the house, or when she broke up with her husband Rashid, what was the actual condition that happened, or what was the state of condition that turned into? That was that Rashid, this fellow Rashid, he ran out of imagination. There was no further imagination that was there with him. Now, coming to the next part, that is the houseboat. Now, we will be studying about this houseboat. Who is offering this? The young politician is offering the houseboat to Rashid and to his son Haroun to stay and to campaign for him so that he could win the upcoming election that is being scheduled. Next. The houseboat was called Arabian Nights +1. Each of its windows had been cut out in the shape of fabulous bird, fish or beast. The rock of Sindan, the sailor, the whale that swallowed men, a fire-breathing dragon, and so on. Light blazed out through the windows so that the fascinating monster were visible from some distance, and seemed to be glowing in the dark. Haroun and Rashid walked up a wooden ladder on a veranda of intricately carved wood and into a living room with crystal calendars and throne-like seats with ornately brocaded cushions and walnut tables carved to look like flat opened trees in which you could see tiny birds and also what looked like winged children but were of course fairies. Okay. Now this entire paragraph, it is the description about the boat, or you can say the houseboat where Haroun and Rashid were staying. This is the entire description. And what was the name of that very particular boat on which these both were there? The name of that boat was Arabian Nights +1. And this boat was so beautiful. The outcuts, the layouts over there, the different models over there was in such a manner of a fabulous bird, fish or a beast. That means exactly he couldn't state, but it was a combination of a bird, fish or a beast. Any of it could be, but exactly the very narrator is not able to write down that what was the actual thing. So he's just writing it collectively that it could be a bird, fish or a beast. Then he says that the outlook or the layout of that entire boat, it was in such a manner like as if a fire-breathing dragon. That means the boat looks like as if the fire is coming out. The dragon is breathing out the fire. Or the whale has already swallowed the man. That means it could be in a manner as if this whale is coming up and it is swallowing a man. So these were the different specifications. Okay, now coming to the next specification, if we talk about the windows. If we talk about the window of this specific boat, it was in the shape of the fish, beast or boat. The veranda was intricately means something that is very small part and it's complex. Okay, something that is comprising a lot more of logic, something that looks very fascinating, something that looks, it's small, but it looks very attractive and very complicated. Like suppose something is made about very much effort is used over there. Then the seats over there. You know, there was even a jhumar, you can say jhumar, that was there in the middle. When they walked upstairs towards the veranda, they saw a very big jhumar was even there. Then throne-like seats. Throne-like seats means the seats that was there. Okay, the seats were cut in such a manner, the very arrangement of the seats were in such a manner that it used to seem like a seat that was like a throne. Now the table, okay, the model of that table that was present in that very ship, it was in the form of walnut. And the walls, you know, the walls over there, they were in such a manner as if someone has kept the fully shelves where the leathers are being praised. Okay. It seems as if a fairyland. It seems like very fascinating to it. They have never seen such sort of a boat. Now the next part is the uniformed boatmen showed Rashid and Haroun to their bedrooms, which turned out to be even more opulent and the lounge. In the exact center of Rashid's room stood an enormous painting wooden peacock with little flourishes of the arm. The boatman removed its back to reveal a large and comfortable bed. Haroun had the adjoining room in which he found an equally oversized turtle which likewise became a bed when the boatman removed its shell. Now see, over here, as we have studied that the very boat, it was very luxurious, it was more opulent. Opulent means something that is very expensive, and it was in such a manner that even a launch gets sailed. Launch means a living room. The best living room could even be sailed. The arrangement over there, the very setup of that boat was so wide, so much it was attracting, so much fascinating that it could even sail the living rooms, those modern living rooms, okay? It was so expensive. Everything was so unique over there. And now what happens over here, that when these people, when Haroun and Rashid, both of them have visited the entire boat, okay, there was a person whose name was Boatman. Okay, he was the one. Suppose if you walk into a restaurant or if you check in a hotel, then there is a person who will show you your room. He'll tell you whatever is kept, what is kept where, and all the accessories, all the arrangements he'll explain you. In the same manner, this boatman was there with this Haroun and Rashid, and he showed them their room. Now, the very room or the very bed that was there, as it is written over here, that there was an enormous painting. Enormous means something that is very big or something that is very large, okay? Something beautiful. So there was a painting that was extremely beautiful, and actually that was not a painting. When he removed that painting, there was a very big and very beautiful bedroom. Okay, there was a very beautiful bed that was kept. And what was the outcut of that bed? It was in the form of a peacock. So Haroun's bed was like a turtle and Rashid's bed was like a peacock. That night, Haroun found it difficult to get to sleep. He lay on the turtle's back in his favorite long night suit and tossed and turned, and just as he was about to drop off, at long last, he was woken up by the noises from Rashid's room next door, a creaking and a rumbling and a groaning and a mumbling, and then a low cry. "It's no use. I won't be able to do it. I am finished for good." Now see, that night when both of them were shown the different rooms, after that, what happened? The small kid who was Haroun, okay, both of them were given different rooms. Haroun was given a different room and Rashid was given a different room. And both of them were very inquisitive. They were very much in the mode of panic. They were not comfortable in their spirits. They were not comfortable at that particular place. And they were in such a manner that they couldn't sleep. The sleep was almost lost. And why it was there? Because this fellow Haroun, okay, he heard a noise that was coming from his father's room that was just next door. And what did he hear? That it's no use. I won't be able to do it. That means this Rashid, he was talking to himself. Rashid was just talking to himself. Meanwhile, this fellow Haroun, he heard all those words that was being casted out of his father. He heard that what his father is trying to narrate. And then, in continuation to this, Haroun tiptoed to the connecting door and very carefully opened it, just a crack, and peeped. He saw the Shah of Blah. Okay, Shah of Blah over here is again used for the father who is Rashid. Why? Because he was a popular, he was a very renowned storyteller. So for him it's written that Shah of Bluff. In a plain blue night suit, without any purple patches at all, facing miserably around his peacock bed, muttering to himself while the floorboards creaking and mourned. Only praises? Indeed, I am ocean of notion, not some office boy for them to boss about. But no, what am I saying? I will get up on stage and find nothing in my mouth but arcs. Then they will slice me in pieces. It will be all up with me. Pinto khatam shud. Much better to stop fooling myself. Give it all up. Go into retirement. Cancel my subscription. Because the magic's gone. Gone forever. Ever since she left. Okay. Now this entire narration over here, it's a monologue. Monologue means when the speaker himself is talking to himself, where the narrator is even one self and even the listener is one self. When we talk to ourselves, okay, such sort of dialogues are called monologue dialogues. And over here, this Rashid, he's talking to himself, and what is he trying to say over here? That why is this fellow, this very one who has hired him, who hired him? The rich politician, okay, the rich politician hired Rashid to narrate the story. So he's saying to him that why only the praising tales he wants to hear? Why not the bad things? Why not something that is naturally coming out of me? Why does he want me just to speak the praising tales? I am an ocean of notion. I am someone who is very renowned. I am so talented. Not just a small office boy for him to boss about. That means he cannot keep me in control. It is not that whatever he is going to say, I am going to do that same thing. Then at the meantime, this fellow Rashid, he contradicts with his own words. And what is he saying? That why am I fooling myself? I am no more ocean of notion. The very creativity, the mentality or the qualities, the talent that I was carrying, it's almost gone. The magic that I was carrying to narrate the story, it's almost gone. And the day Suraya, the wife of Rashid, she left, okay, that particular day only, the entire magic went off. Now he couldn't focus anymore on his storytelling. And then he comes up to the conclusion where he is still pondering on it that I should now cancel the subscription and just go back, because I cannot speak anything. On the stage when I'll go, I'll fool myself and they're going to slice me into pieces, because they were paying Rashid to narrate the story. So he's saying that when they will come to know about it, they will slice me into pieces if I'll not be able to narrate a good story to them. So it's better for me to cancel the subscription, take the retirement and sit back with myself, because now I am not able to perform anything. Then he turned to snare at the connecting door and called loudly, "Who's there?" Okay, now, why is he talking over here, or why is he asking? Because if you can see in this picture, the second picture, if you can see, then Haroun over here, he's peeping into his father's room, Rashid, to just see that what actually is happening. What is he trying to do? Whom is he talking? So this fellow is peeping in. And the moment he peeped in, okay, this Rashid, he came to his senses. He was able to find out this thing, that there is someone who is keeping an eye on me, and he loudly speaks up this thing that, "Who is there? Please come in front." To be fierce, Haroun had just dozed off when he was spoken by a creaking and a rumbling and a groaning and a mumbling. So his first thought was that his father hadn't found the turtle any easier to sleep on than the peacock. Then he realized that the noise wasn't coming from the turtle room, but from his own bathroom. The bathroom door was open and the light was on. And as Haroun watched, he saw silhouetted in the open doorway a figure almost too astonishing for words. Okay, now over here, when both of these fellows had a random conversation, when Haroun was revealed up when he came, like when he was peeping in, then his father called up, he came in front, they had a random conversation and they just exchanged their beds because both of them were not comfortable with their beds. So they thought that it's better to exchange their bed. Might be that works out, might be it gets them much of relief. And just after they have exchanged the bed, and this small boy Haroun, he was dozed off. Dozed off means just he fall asleep. It would have just few minutes or few seconds would have passed. He would have just slept. And then again he heard the rumbling and the groaning sound. So firstly when he heard that sound, his mind directly switched towards it. That again, my father wouldn't have found that bed even though we have exchanged the bed, but still I do not think that my father is comfortable with that bed. But then after a while, he comes to this realization that it was not Rashid who was making these different sounds and these different noise, but it was coming from his own bathroom. And he was very surprised to see that the bathroom's light was open and there was a shadow over there. And he just saw a figure which was almost too astonishing of words. That means he saw such sort of a regular figure which he couldn't describe into words. And what was that very figure? You can see in the picture when he saw in the bathroom, when he peeped into the bathroom, he saw this figure. Who was it? He was the water genie. And let's learn how this figure was actually. It had an oversized onion for a head and oversized aubergines for legs, and it was holding a toolbox in one hand and what looked like a monkey wrench in the other, a bugler. Okay. Now, you can see there is a outsized onion head. Matlab, he was having a very big head. The size of his head, it was not a normal head as we people have, but it was as if a size of an onion. The outside means the very big onion shaped head was there. And outside aubergine's leg, that means the eggplant. Okay, this is eggplant. You can see in this picture over here, the legs are in the form of a brinjal, or you can say it's oval. Now, why is it, when it is oval, so it is saying that it's like a eggplant. So, students, over here, this fellow Haroun, he comes to this conclusion that he would be a bugler. Bugler means a thief. I hope till here everything is clear to you. We'll study the next part in the next video. Thank you.